All right, we continue. We have done this one. Yang ini sudah kan? All right, so we continue goal of corporation. All right, so goal for corporation, as we know, is for profit maximization here to obtain profit, right, as much as possible, right, for every businessman. So their purpose will be what? Will be earning profit as much as possible. Right, to obtain profit as much. Why do we need to have obtain profit as much as possible? Right, there are the reason here. First one, to maintain it operating stabilities, right? So operating stability adalah contohnya to pay salary, right? Dia kena bayar salary to right to employees. Dia kena bayar bill electric. They have to pay water bill. So this one is the daily activities for a company lah. So they need to have money to pay off, right, the daily activity of a company. So maintain normal growth in the operation, which is if the company want to open up new branches or they want to buy a new machine, right? So they need money. So money is come from where? Come from the profit earned by the company. So reward to stakeholders. Here we have contoh contributions of ideas. So if they have contribution good ideas or they have contributed capital or money, so we need to give reward to them so that they will continue, right? So that they will continue support, right, of the company, right? Next, we have maximization of shareholders' value. As we know that siapa itu shareholders? Shareholders is the owner of the company. So we should always remember that we need to please our shareholders. We need to make our shareholders happy. So how we can make our shareholders happy, which is the primary goal is shareholders' wealth maximization, right? Which translate to maximizing stock price. So because shareholders they akan beli saham, right? Saham of the company. So if the share price going up, meaning that the wealth of the shareholders will increase, and when the wealth of shareholders increase, they will happy and they will keep or they will continue, right, to support the company lah, by holding the company shares. Next, we have a problem. What is the problem of profit maximization? Meaning that the company always seek, always want profit maximization. Then they have a problem. What problem they're facing here is the time horizon. Here we have time to be short-term approach. Right, decision is to get as much current profit as possible. So they will not consider the long-term project, right? So because as they want the money now, right? Because we want the profit maximization, right? So they will prefer the money now. So they will just focus on a short-term project. As we know, also kadang-kadang CEO, right? They will rotate atau they ada period. So they appoint jadi CEO of a company for maybe 3 tahun ke 5 tahun. So they tend to just focus right within the 5 years lah semasa dia sebagai sebagai CEO. So kalau dia fokus on long term, mungkin after 10 years, after 15 years only to get the return, then dia tak akan dapat good performance lah when he is the CEO of the company. That's why they tend to be short term. All right. Okay, this is the decision to get as much right. So if they prefer long term, then performance dia bukan kat dia lah, mungkin the next CEO atau the next CEO ah. Then the timing of returns, ignore future project give no consideration on the timing of return and time value of money lah, timing. So they only focus on the 3 years or 5 years when they are the CEO of the company, right? And then distribution of return dividend. So tend to ignore the owners wish to receive a portion of earning in the form of dividend. So mungkin CEO dia ignore lah, dia tak distribute, right, dividend to the shareholders, right? This one, right? This one is not good lah. When shareholders dia tak happy, mungkin dia tak akan, they will not going to hold the company punya shares, right? Then it is not good lah. If the shareholders don't hold the shares, they draw, then can be resulted in price drop. So which is the supply is more than the demand. Then REITs tend to give less consideration risk in the attempt to maximize profit and those faces higher risk in operation, right? Which is they will just look at the profit. Or kalau profit is very high, then they don't care the risk, right? That they're going to face by the company. So you have to remember that in finance kita ada satu sentence called high profit, high risk, right? This one will not change. Kalau risiko tinggi, then the return will be high. When the return is low, the risk will also low. So depending like if you want high return, then you need to bear that there will be a risk, right, for this project. Right, and if you don't want to have high risk, then you need to accept that the return adalah rendah, right? Okay, then we have goal to achieve wealth maximization objective. It is indirectly secara tidak langsung benefit to the society. When the company they want to maximize the profit, normally two things they can do. First thing is what? First thing is cut costs. Second thing is increase sales. Only these two lah. Cut costs and increase sales, then the profit will increase. So by doing this, actually it is good for the society lah. So first one kita ada efficient and low cost operation. So reduce weightage pembaziran. So this one they cut costs they try to use as maximum as possible. So they don't want to waste, right? This one and consume resources. So they don't waste. Then this one is good for the environment, right? Good for the environment and good for the society. Right. Number two, new product development, consumer choice, promote healthy competition, thus increase good availability. This one also, if they want to increase sales, so they need to keep improving, right? They cannot just sit down, do nothing. So they need to keep improving their products, as we can see in the market. Kan dia ada, especially kita ambil example handphone. Handphone sentiasa ada new version like iPhone 1 until iPhone 13. So this one is what? Keep improving. And by keeping improving, then this one will benefit consumer, which is we have more option, right? Banyak pilihan, right, for the customers to choose. Right, this one we consider it is a healthy competition, right? And this one, and then we have provide efficient and courtesy, courteous service, provide better service. So this one, I think all big company they have lah, which is the customer service. Yes, customer service counter or customer service hotline. So which is if the customers facing any problem, right, they can call to this customer service hotline lah. Right. Okay. So this one provide better service. So if the company they provide better service, maybe the customers will go to another company lah. So they need to make sure that they have provide a good service, customer service, right, to the customers. Right. If you have any question, you can just type dalam the chat box, message box. Today my mic, the mic got some problem. So if you have question, you just type lah dalam message box. Okay. Next, we have environment of financial management. So we have two types, right? Two types of environment. First one is the internal environment. Second would be the external environment. So internal environment, we can say factors exist within the firm, within a dalaman. So anything that is happen in the firm, it is controllable, meaning can be controlled, right? Can be controlled, right? And example, human and financial resources that could inhibit financial managers' action. So you can make your own decision lah. Maksudnya you nak guna berapa employees, you want to spend how much on the marketing budget. So this one you can control, meaning the company can control. So that's why we say it is controllable. You want to use 10,000 in the marketing campaign, or you want to appoint spokesperson, this is all in the hand, right, of the management team. That's why we say internal, right, environment, which is you can control or the management can control. External environment factors, I say outside, this one is Rawan. Rawan, the firm uncontrollable. Example, the political. So political example, if change of governments, can the company control? Cannot. Right, so this one is uncontrollable, tidak boleh dikawal. And legal framework can be changed, undang-undang bertukar atau any new policies, right? Like maybe government want to change back to the tax, good and service tax, right? Change back to good and service tax, right? Or culture and social value, economics, climate. Economics is booming or recession, so the company cannot control. Technology trend and investors attitude. Technology trend also, right? A company uh, cannot control lah. For example, uh, let's say the handphone dulu kita guna keypad, right? Keypad. So you just key lah, keypad. Now when the trend is using touchscreen. So all company need to improve lah, improve their handphone to touchscreen. So if the company they don't change, they don't improve, so what going to happen? Right, so the company may not survive or the sales will drop. Right, this one is the technology trend. So company need to alert. Company need to alert, right? So that they will follow the technology trend. All right, so this one or investment or consumer attitude atau investors attitude lah. So the taste will change, right? Atau kalau yang paling obvious in the fashion punya fashion industry baju. So sometimes they change. Now the trend is white color, then people are wearing white, or then they change the test to red color. So this one we cannot forecast. So for the financial consideration and decision for financial managers will be affected by the internal environment dengan external environment lah. The decision will be impacted by these two. All right, next we have function, right? Function of financial management. So to ensure the maximization of shareholders' value, right, financial manager need to plan. They need to plan, right, way how or method or way to achieve firm goal and strategy. So as we know that we need to maximization like the profit. So they can plan and then they can control. Confirm actual performance with the stated plan. So when they already stated this month kita kena hit sales berapa. So lepas tu dia kena monitor lah whether betul tak the company ada hit the sales for this month. If tak tercapai, what should you do? Right, so this one is control. Next, we have functions of financial managers. First one, investment decision. So involve determining the appropriate mix, right, in asset portfolio or asset structures held by the firm. So mix of asset portfolio, so you can decide lah berapa, how much you need to allocate for a certain asset. Here you can see, determine the appropriate amount, right? Determine the appropriate amount to be invested in current asset and fixed asset. So here, example of fixed asset. Can you just type? Give me example fixed asset in the message box. Example of current asset. Can you type example of current asset? Cash, yes. Apa lagi? Bank, okay. Bank. bank. Cash, bank. Ada lagi? Account receivable, yes, correct. So from here, we need to like for example, cash, right? So actually firm they do not they don't like holding cash. So can anybody tell me why bank don't like to hold cash? Anybody know? You say take a lot of space. Eh, take a lot of space, Natasha, you ingat dia simpan 1 bilion dalam syarikat. This one of course dia letak dalam bank account lah. No company will put cash in the company space. Takkan lah dia nak simpan physical. Others. Okay. Cash lagi cair dari duit dalam bank. Ha, Wahida, what you said, cash lagi cair. So it actually is same cash and the money in your bank account. You want to take out quite easy, right? Okay, you can try if you want to on your mind. You boleh cuba tengok. Or if you want to on your mind and say, actually, why we say that what company they don't like cash because cash will not generate any income. If you put 1 million in the bank account, also after 1 year, also 1 million. That's why that's why company they don't like to hold too many cash. They will only holding what enough. Well, I can say cukup sahaja, only enough cash to run the company. They are not going to hold extra because cash considered as expenses for them. So kalau dia ada extra cash, they normally will do investment. Walaupun dia ada fee macam fee for 2 hari ke 3 hari, so they're going to invest for 2 days or 3 days. Walaupun the return is like only 0.01% ke, but they will just invest 1 or 2 days. Right, because the amount adalah besar, right? Kalau dia ada amount 1 million, 0.01% pun, mungkin dia dapat few thousand just for 1 or 2 days. So they can pay 1% punya salary. But that's why they don't like to hold cash, right? If they have extra cash, they will try to invest, right? So, so who is going to decide how much you need to hold? Financial manager. Mana nak invest? Where you should invest? Financial managers that are going to decide where to invest. And then just now ada orang account receivable. Apa itu account receivable? Account receivable is what? Customer's account, right? Customer yang hutang kepada syarikat. So, financial manager yang akan monitor customer's account kalau percentage tinggi. If account receivable percentage tinggi, apa maksud? What is the meaning? Anybody? Right, you can on your mic if you want to say or you want to type also can. What is the meaning if account receivable dia tinggi? Utang dia tinggi. Utang? Siapa utang? Customer, company utang Customers. Yes, maksud dia kalau account receivable tinggi, maksud dia syarikat dia ada masalah untuk collect back dia punya duit, money. So company is cannot collect back money from customers. Then it is not good. So if dia dah nampak account receivable dia percentage tinggi, then dia kena kejar dia punya staff untuk pergi kejar customers untuk bayar hutang. Right. So this is what account receivable. So dia kena check kalau percentage. So dia kena check lah on this. Atau inventory. Kalau inventory tinggi, apa maksudnya? Right, when the inventory is high, what is the meaning? What meaning if inventory is high? The production level is apa maksud the production level is low? Banyak duit. Hello, this banyak duit. Poor quality of good, banyak duit. Inventory tinggi, you cakap company got a lot of money. No. Kalau inventory banyak, company actually dia tak ada banyak duit. Sebab duit dia semua dalam products, inventory. Dia beli banyak. Yes, Osman cakap, Amira cakap, banyak barang tak terjual. Yes, betul. Sales tak bagus. Yes, betul. Pandai. Yes, because inventory how maksud dia you punya warehouse, you punya store ada banyak barang dalam. Maksud you tak boleh jual. So this one, if the inventory is high, then you can kerja you punya marketing department, ask them to go and sell. Right, okay. So from here kita actually we can know from here like cash, inventory, account receivable. This one dia akan bagi information. So bad service. Bad service, okay, boleh juga bad service because inventory is too high. Service dia tak bagus, so tak ada orang nak beli. Alright, okay, so this one, so who we going to check this one? Financial manager lah, dia akan oversee. Then fixed asset, then they also decide bila nak beli mesin baru. Or if they have new technology in the market, whether the company want to buy or they want to rent. Or this one decided by manager lah. Determine the optimum level of investment in each type of current asset. So you can see that dia tak ada satu formula yang sesuai untuk semua syarikat. I cannot say that kita kena maintain 10% of cash dalam company. Adakah 10% sesuai untuk semua syarikat? Tidak, right? They cannot say 10% cash company, right? Because this one depend on the what? Depend on the business of the company. Kalau company adalah restoran. Kalau restoran, so you kena you kena prepare banyak cash sebab kalau customers datang bagi 100, takkan you cakap dengan customer, sorry, I don't have small change. Cannot. So you need to maintain cash, right? Those business yang dia guna cash transaction, kalau customer bayar dengan cash, so you need to maintain more cash in your company, right? This one is for daily activities lah, so that you run your business smoothly. So depend on the business, what business you in. And sometimes they will also based on season juga. So you tak boleh cakap 10% for setahun, tak boleh. So dia kena tahu juga ikut musim. Like this month adalah bulan Ramadan, then next month adalah Hari Raya. So kalau company that is selling baju, selling kuih raya, of course bulan ini dia akan guna banyak cash, beli baju, and then dia kena jualkan. So dia kena prepare more cash this month. Next month dah habis hari raya, so dia kena kurangkan dia punya cash. Atau dia punya inventory. This month inventory tinggi sebab dia nak jual kan. Then mungkin nanti sampai Deepavali dia punya inventory tinggi. Lepas Deepavali then dia kurang. Then Christmas naik lagi inventory. Then after Christmas turun. Then next year Chinese New Year naik lagi. So this one is very depending on the customers lah. Right, depending on the customers. Depend on the business, what type of business that the company have, optimum level. So this one kena tengok balik the history atau trend syarikat lah. Right, and recommend the best fixed asset to acquire and know when to replace the existing asset. Right, next you have the financing decision. So we have involved the determinations of the financial structures of the firm. So determine the appropriate mix of short and long-term sources of funds for financing. So this one, like for example, tadi kita ada musim perayaan. So kalau musim perayaan, bulan ini dia kena beli baju, lepas tu dia jual kan. So the company need money. So you can just then you need to borrow lah. You need to borrow money from bank. So this one will be you need to borrow from bank untuk short term lah. So you pinjam for 1 bulan ke 2 bulan. Because after you borrow the money, right? You borrow the money and then you beli baju, then you jual. So lepas you jual, you dapat duit, then you just return, you just bayar balik lah kepada bank. So this one you kena do matching lah. So kalau macam this month you just borrow for 2 months. Kalau if this is a big project, for example you are building a stadium ke, you building a swimming pool ke, you building a theme park ke, then that one maybe you need to loan for long term, 5 years ke, 10 years ke. So financial manager dia akan buat matching lah. Kalau if the company need money for short term, then they borrow for short term. If the company need for long term, then they borrow for long term. Right, okay, so and then choose the appropriate source of fund for investment in asset portfolio. So source of fund, here we have sumber dana, where you get the money, right? Just now kita dah ada, you borrow from bank. So normally syarikat dia ada 3 lah, 3 sumber atau 3 sources. One, if you can borrow from bank. Second, you can issue bond or you can issue shares, right? Saham, bond dengan bank lah. So mungkin then who is going to decide this one? Financial manager lah. Adakah dia nak pinjam from bank, dia nak jual bond, dia nak issue shares, right? And then determine the appropriate dividend policy so that the internally generated fund are available for reinvestment. Right, so this one sama. Again, financial manager bukan dia yang decide. Financial manager normally dia akan recommend dalam meeting. Okay, dalam meeting financial manager dia akan buat pembentangan atau presentation. Financial manager will present, then they recommend. So the CEO and the managers in the meeting you make decision lah. Biasanya CEO lah cakap, okay, kalau financial manager cakap this year kita bagi dividen 2 sen per shares. Then CEO say that is too sikit sangat, so increase to 4 sen. Alright, boleh juga lah. All right, and then both decision affect the risk and return. Okay, so tadi we have the financial managers, right? The decision. So the other two, investment decision and financial decision. Right, next we have institute financial market, right? Pasaran keuangan. So we have institutions and procedure that facilitate transaction in all type of securities. So security here is referring to financial asset. Contoh financial asset adalah bond dengan shares. So when we say securities in finance, you have to remember it's referred to bond or shares, right? To allow financial resources within the economics, right? To allow all right, sorry, just now UITM punya Wi-Fi suddenly disconnect, right? Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear my voice? Hello?
Yes.
All right, sorry, just now I'm in UI Wi-Fi connection problem again. Tiba-tiba disconnect. This time I okay, so I using okay lah. Right, sampai mana? All right, so we continue here. We have provide sources of fund to deficit unit. So we can transfer yang ada lebihan to those who need it lah. So how we transfer from sources of fund to deficit unit? So we kena ada financial market to help us. So firm receive money from it, right? While investors, firm or individual make investment So kita beli shares, kita beli bond, marketable security, government securities, which is the exchanges berlaku, right? We have the exchanges happening. So we exchange or we are transferring, right? We are transferring the money from one party to another party. So if you want to say dia lebih kurang macam pasar. you know is pasar, right? Pasar is a place you buy and sell thing, right? Sama juga. This one, the bezel will be this market is selling financial products, right? Financial product lah, macam share atau bond. Okay. How it work macam mana? Right, you can see on this graph. So you can check on here. We have suppliers of fund. Right, suppliers of fund is what which is the party yang ada lebihan, surplus units, right? And we have another party which is demanders of fund, deficit unit, which is the party yang dia tak cukup or deficit, ada kekurangan. So how we going to transfer yang ada extra atau surplus to those who need it atau demanders or peminta? So they have two ways, as we said. One is through the financial institution. So surplus of fund like kita semua, kita ada duit, you ada bank account, right? So mesti dalam bank account ada duit. So kita simpan dalam bank. So bank will use our money to bagi loan kepada company. Right, kepada company atau kepada individual pun boleh, individual like us. Right, we macam Patricia dia nak duit untuk beli rumah, so dia pergi loan. So kita pun sebagai demander, right? Syarikat pun, okay, government pun sometimes, so demanders of fund, deficit unit. Right, this is one of the way lah. Cara kedua adalah syarikat dia nak duit, dia boleh go through financial market, which is they can sell shares. Dia jual share dalam share market atau dia boleh jual bond dalam bond market. So investors here lah, suppliers or individual investors kita beli shares, kita beli bond. So kita dapat bond and then syarikat dapat duit. So exchanges berlaku. Right, we have exchanges, transaction happening here. So this is how we transfer from this surplus unit, money, fund to those who need it. Okay, so any question?
No, sir.
Next we have okay, suppliers and demanders of funds, so also known as surplus atau suppliers, and deficit atau demanders of units. So consists of households, adalah kita lah, households, individual, government, firm. So they are the providers of fund and receiver of fund, right? So providers of fund atau suppliers adalah household kita. Macam kita semua lah, Farah ke, Amil ke. So we are the suppliers of fund, right? We put money in the bank. Investors beli shares, investors beli bond. So we are the providers, right? Purchasing atau invest financial asset, financial instrument offered by deficit unit or financial institution. So demander adalah receiver, orang yang menerima dana lah atau duit. Will be issuer financing asset, dia jual shares, dia jual bond. So who is the demanders? Households, kita adalah demanders. Kita pinjam duit daripada bank untuk beli rumah, untuk beli kereta, beli tanah. So we are the demanders also. Government also demanders, we pay tax, and then sometimes government also dia jual bond juga. Syarikat lagi lah, dia jual share, dia jual bond, and then dia pinjam from bank. Next we have capital market and money market. So capital market in which long-term securities issued by firm and government exchange. So equities, when you have to remember dalam finance, when we cakap equity, you kena link dengan shares. When we say equity, dia jadi shares. Right, and debt, bond. Right, bond adalah sejenis utang. That's why it is debt. This bond we have two lah. If this one issued by syarikat, kita panggil corporate bond. If issued by government, kita panggil dia government bond. So instrument traded in capital market atau nama pasaran kita in Malaysia kita panggil Bursa Malaysia. So macam pasar malam Alor Gajah. So kalau kat Malaysia, nama dia Bursa Malaysia. So carry greatest risk but higher return. As tadi kita cakap, high risk, high return. Remember, when the risk is high, the return must be also high. Right. Number two, we have money market. What is the difference between money market and capital market? So the differences will be satu adalah long term, satu adalah short term. Right. Short term debt instrument less than 1 year. Right. So this one as tadi kita cakap syarikat dia tak suka pegang duit. So kalau dia ada free time 2 minggu ke 1 bulan ke, so they boleh invest in money market. This market is for short term. So they can put lah, they can parking. Sometimes they're using the word parking. They parking duit dia kat money market. For temporary lah, untuk 1 bulan ke 2 minggu. Untuk dapat return lah. So issue by firm and government, so low risk and liquid. Right, low risk and liquid lah. When you have low risk, maksud dia return pun rendah lah. Liquid here referring to if you want to buy ada pembeli dia. So this one is good. This one normally syarikat akan tengok whether the liquidity lah we say. If the market is liquid, then it's good because when company they need money, they want to sell, because people want to buy, right? And instruments such as commercial paper, non-convertible debentures, this one adalah nama products, commercial paper, non-convertible debenture NCD, right? Also known as marketable securities. Yes. Liquid. Alright, okay, liquid. Sometimes kita panggil liquidity. Liquid meaning that if kalau you nak, when we say liquid, meaning if you want to sell, you nak jual, ada orang nak beli. Then we say that the asset is liquid. Kalau kita cakap illiquid, tak liquid lah. The liquidity is not good, meaning that you want to sell, but nobody want to buy. Then the one is illiquid. Right? So this one, kalau company normally dia akan tengoklah adakah produk ini ada liquid tak. Sebab kalau dia ada free time 2 minggu, selepas 2 minggu dia nak jual, dia kena make sure dia boleh jual lah, ada orang nak beli. Kalau tak ada, dia ada masalah cash flow already. Right? So liquidity is important lah for company yang dia hanya parking duit dia untuk sementara. Sebab nanti you dah beli, like you beli you park your money dalam commercial paper. You beli commercial paper, lepas 2 minggu you nak jual tapi tak ada orang nak beli. Then susah lah, you tak boleh jual tapi you nak guna duit. Then this one, we call this one tak liquid. Illiquid lah, liquidity problem lah. Kalau liquid, you want to sell, ada cepat je, ada pembeli dia beli. Then this is good. Okay, Natasha? Any more question? All right, then we continue. Return. All right. So we have return investment. Return measure the financial result of an investment. So return is important, right? When we want to do, we want to invest. Kita nak invest. So kita selalu akan tanya, what is the return? How we know the project A is better than project B? How we decide we want to invest A, not B? Then this will help us lah return. So normally kita guna satu ratio yang panggil return on investment untuk bantu kita buat keputusan mana kita nak invest, which one we want to invest. So we refer to the return on investment. So for return on investment, of course, yang paling tinggi paling bagus, right? So return may be historical or prospective. So normally if they tell you return, kita boleh tengok dia punya sejarah, history dia, last year dia punya return berapa. So this one is historical. Based on the historical, kita boleh forecast or what is the profits for this years, right? To help us to make decision whether we want to invest or we don't want to invest. Return can be expressed in ringgit, 1 billion, pulangan dapat 1 million, atau kita boleh express dalam percentage, or the return is 15%. Biasa businessman dia suka dapat percentage. Right? What is your return? 10%. What is your return? 15%. Right? So because they say easy for them to do comparison, so they prefer percentage. Right? And next we have risk. Risk and return adalah twin brother, adik-beradik. So if you're talking about return, you jangan lupa dia punya twin brother risk. Right? That's why we say high risk, high return. So some investors dia hanya tengok kepada return, tapi dia ignore risk. Tak boleh. So normally they come together. So apa itu risk? Risiko. Typically investment return are not known with certainty. Ketidakpastian, then we call this one risk. If you have 100% sure, of course they will not have any risk. Kalau you dah 100% sure, then kita tak panggil dia risiko lah, sebab you dah tahu dia akan berlaku. So investment risk pertain to the probabilities of earning a return less than expected. I can see less than expected. So maksud dia what you expect, dia kemungkinan dia tak akan berlaku. Dan kita panggil dia ini sebagai risiko. Less than what you expected. So the greatest the chance of return far below the expected return, so the greatest the risk. Right? So kalau the return, so you expected you akan dapat 10% return. Tetapi kalau dia ada chances you tak dapat 10%, mungkin you akan dapat 5%. So kalau the 5% is jauh daripada 10%, then we say that this is a high risk project. If near to what you expected, then that one is considered low risk. Right here, risk can be referred as the chances of having an unexpected or negative outcome. Right, negative outcome. So any action or activities that lead to loss or any type can be termed as risk. So example, expected return. So you jangka the return adalah 10%. Tapi dia ada chances, possibilities. You tak akan dapat 10%. Kalau chances atau possibility jauh daripada apa yang you expected, jauh, then kita panggil this one high risk. Kalau dia dekat dengan what you expected, then we say this one is low risk. Right? So example kat sini kalau 5%. 5% adalah jauh daripada 10%. Then we say high risk. Because it is not near to what you want. You nak 10%. Tapi dia ada risk, ada risiko. You tak akan dapat 10%. You mungkin dapat 5%. Jauh. Right? From 10%, then we say high risk. Another one is 9%. So kebarangkalian you hanya akan dapat 9% lah. So we say this one is risk. Low risk. Because walaupun dia what is not what you expected lah. You expect is 10%, tapi you dapat 9%. Then we say this one low risk lah sebab walaupun dia tak sama, tapi dia dah dekat dengan 10%. Then we say this one low risk. Alright, any question? Alright, then we continue. Right, we have categories of risk. So we have three. First one, we have business risk. Business risk is this type of risks are taken by business enterprises, right, themselves in order to maximize shareholders' value and profits. So as example, company undertake high cost risk in marketing to launch new product in order to gain higher sales. So business risk adalah risiko yang diterima oleh sebuah syarikat. One company only, bukan semua syarikat, not all company, because the example given here is the marketing budget. So different company, they have different budget. So if a company dia letak high budget marketing, dia letak 100,000 or 500,000 untuk marketing. So dia appoint siapa yang mahal, spokesperson yang mahal. Siapa tahu spokesperson yang mahal? Alright, dia appoint lah mana-mana spokesperson mahal 500,000. Adakah 500,000 adalah positive relationship dengan sales? Dia panggil this person, dia spend a lot of money. Adakah syarikat punya jualan or sales akan increase? Tak semestinya. Dia ada risiko. Not necessary you spend a lot of money in the marketing event, then your sales will increase. Right? So yang ini kita panggil business risk. And this business risk only happen to that company only lah, the company. Right? Next, we have non-business risks. These type of risks are not under the control of the firm. So risks that arise in the political and economic balances can be termed as non-business risks. This one is luar kawalan, like as we explained before, like political risk, change of governments, introduce of new policy or law, right? So this one, the company cannot control. Economics, maybe a recession, change of interest rate or inflation rate, unemployment rate. This one also you cannot control. Next, we have financial risks. So the risks that involve financial loss, right, to firm. So financial risk generally arise due to instability and losses in the financial market caused by movement of stock price, right, currency, interest rate, and more. So this one if the company dia ada buat investment lah dalam share market. So kalau share price drop, dia akan loss lah. Currency, this one if the company have business atau investment kat luar negara. So when they want to transfer the money back to Malaysia, if ringgit Malaysia adalah weak, then mungkin atau Malaysia ringgit adalah strong, right? Ringgit Malaysia adalah strong, then mungkin dia akan resulted losses when they want to convert back to ringgit Malaysia. But interest rate will be, kalau as we know, syarikat dia akan pinjam duit, right? So kalau interest rate increase, dia kena bayar higher interest lah kepada bank. Alright, so here you can see just now kita ada investment decision. This one, investment decision, dia ada business risk lah. And then financial decision, dia ada financial risk lah. And these two risks adalah tambah dua risk adalah total risk, and the risk we're going to have impact to the company share price. Right. Next we have the relationship. So risk and return trade-off play a major role in influencing the investment decision made. So the basic rule stated high risk associated with high return and vice versa, right? Meaning low risk, low return, right? So risk is unavoidable. That's why we say when you want to do investment, risk is unavoidable. Those key strategy is seek investment opportunity that offer the higher return with less risk. Right? Higher return, less risk. But this one normally is very difficult to find out the project that have give you high return, then less risk. Right? And bond and equities are the instrument that pose higher risk and give higher return. And they are less liquid. For marketable security pose lower risk, result to lower in return but high in liquidity. That's why kalau company dia ada free time. Dia ada free like mungkin duit dia ada free for 1 week. So normally dia akan parking dia punya duit kat marketable security lah. One of the reason is liquidity. High in liquidity, meaning that when they want to sell, got people want to buy, so they can convert into cash, no problem. All right, so next we have, okay, contoh kat sini, y-axis representing risk and then x-axis representing return. So this is the different level of risk and different level of return. So if you want to invest in bond will give you lower risk and lower return as compared to preferred stock, right? So kalau you want higher return, then you may want to invest in stock market. Stock market will provide you higher return, but high risk. The risk is high. Okay? So depend on the individual punya preferences lah, bergantung kepada individuals. Kadang-kadang individual dia suka high risk sebab high return. Some investors they don't like risk. They say I cannot. Nanti sikit-sikit kena sakit jantung. So I prefer to lower risk. Of course kalau lower risk then the return will be lower lah. Right, so this one adalah individual punya pilihan. They have no correct answers. They have no wrong answers based on you yourself lah. Right here kita ada satu risk-free asset. Risk-free asset maksud tak ada risiko lah. So kalau for us individual, kalau kita nak beli bond kan, so return dia berapa, then we say we can invest. So normally kita ada we need to have a guideline lah. So apa guideline kita? Biasanya we use the fixed deposit interest rate as our guideline. Yang ini kita yang paling senang kita dapat the information. You know what is fixed deposit, right? Simpanan tetap. Siapa tahu simpanan tetap interest rate 1 tahun berapa? Anybody know?
No.
Cepat Google. Apa? Amir tulis apa 5K? Cakap interest rate. Kadar faedah. Fixed deposit 1 tahun. Google. CIMB. Kadar faedah untuk simpanan tetap atau FD. CIMB FD. Interest rate. 50K. Apa ni Amir tulis? Berapa persen? Aisyah. 3.65%. Tinggi ni. Ni bank apa ni? Let me check. Ni tak boleh percaya ni. 1.8. Ni logic sikit 1.8. Interest rate. Interest rate FD. Malaysia. See at this rate. 1.5%, 1.8%, 1.5, 1.7. All right, so we put 1.8 to 2. So we put 2%. Maybank, okay, Maybank 1.8. Aisyah, you mana dapat 3.65%, I pun nak invest lah. I pun nak buat FD lah. 3.65% tinggi. Double from Maybank. So you tell me which bank I want to go and save. Ni 3.65 tinggi ni interest rate. So we put lah 2% contoh. 2% lah risk free. So maksudnya kalau kita simpan 1,000 dalam Maybank, Maybank akan bagi kita 2% kadar faedah interest rate. So kalau kita invest in bond, kita kena cari bond yang return dia more than 2%. Why is more than 2%? Because kalau dia less than 2%, tak payah invest. Kita letak duit je kat Maybank. Maybank tak ada risk. You simpan 1 tahun, lepas 1 tahun dia bagi 2%. Tak ada risiko. So kalau bond dia bagi you 1.8%, then they say, tak payahlah I simpan duit dalam bank. Maybank, FD dapat 2%. Alright, so you just using lah, you guna yang fixed deposit punya interest rate sebagai rujukan. So 2%, at least more than 2%, then you invest lah. Kalau less than 2%, then better simpan dalam bank. Another one is kalau ada orang datang jumpa you, say, you invest this one, I bagi you 20% return, guarantee. So jangan tertipu lah. In investment tak ada such thing called guarantee. I guarantee you after 1 year you have 20%. No such thing. That one is con, tipu. Right? Although dia cakap guarantee by kerajaan. So you need to make sure betul is correct, is true that government is guaranteeing. So normally they say guarantee, but it's tipu. Right? So when you want to invest, kita using the fixed deposit punya interest rate lah untuk sebagai rujukan lah the return. So this one is for us, right? Kalau company normally they use the T-bill, kadar faedah treasury bill yang issued by government as their risk-free rate. Risk-free rate. Next, we have systematic risk, right? We have risk that is unavoidable and cannot be eliminated by diversification. So diversification adalah satu strategi atau cara untuk atau cancel risiko. This one nanti we explain later what is diversification. So you can see kalau this is a systematic risk atau market risk, this type of risk we cannot eliminate. Contoh inflation risk, interest rate risk, political risk. Because inflation risk, political risk atau interest risk is faced by semua orang, all company affected. So this type of risk we cannot eliminate it. Another risk we call unsystematic risk atau firm specific risk. I mean this one risiko yang dihadapi oleh sesebuah syarikat, bukan semua syarikat, one company only. Risk that can be eliminated. If this is a risk, then we can eliminate it atau cancel by diversification. Contoh management risk atau operation risk atau profit risk. Sebab profit untuk syarikat lain, profit dia lain-lain. Right, this risk we can cancel. So just now we're talking about diversification. Apa itu diversification? Right, it's a strategy. So diversification in an investment portfolio can reduce unsystematic risk to some extent dependent upon the correlations coefficient that exists between the securities held in the portfolio. When we say investment portfolio, meaning that dalam portfolio mesti more than one type of shares. Kalau the investors only invest one type, Contoh dia invest TM shares sahaja. This investor only have one TM shares. So we cannot say that this is a portfolio. When portfolio is more than one, dua. So dalam portfolio dia ada beli TM, dia ada Maybank, dia ada Tenaga, dia ada Digi, dia ada Maybank. So different. And then dia ada beli bond lagi, then this one kita panggil dia portfolio. Right? So if you buy more, banyak jenis, then you can reduce the systematic risk atau you can cancel some of the risk. Right? What is correlation coefficient here? Correlation coefficient describe how much linear co-movement exists between two random variable or between two securities. This one nanti we explain the correlation. So meaning that kalau if we add in, kita tambah banyak stock atau bond dalam our portfolio, dalam kita punya investment, then we can reduce the unsystematic risk. Contoh kat sini, right? Here, if you're referring to this graph, y-axis adalah risk, risiko, and then x-axis adalah number of stock in portfolio, or number of stock. So you can see this is a blue line. Blue line ini adalah total risk, which is unsystematic risk tambah systematic risk equal to total risk. So you can see kalau dalam portfolio you tambah, you add from 0 to 10 number of stock dalam you punya portfolio, the total risk will be reducing. You can see this blue line is reducing. So if you tambah lagi from 10 to 20, reduce lagi. Then you tambah lagi until 40, until 50, until 2000. So this line, this total risk risiko dia akan menurun. You have to remember this blue line we're going to reduce near, dekat dengan systematic risk, tetapi dia tidak akan memotong ke bawah. They will not going to cross this line to below. As we say, systematic risk you cannot reduce. This line will be reducing unsystematic risk saja. So this line dia akan sentiasa you tambah nombor stok, tambah. Dia tak akan memotong ke bawah. Dia akan mendekati sahaja, near to the systematic risk. As we know, market risk cannot be cancelled. We can only cancel unsystematic risk. All right, okay. So next we have, okay, this one adalah correlation. Tadi kita ada cakap based on this one, right? Correlation. Right, so kita ada 3 jenis correlation. We have positive correlation, we have negative correlations, we have zero correlation. Apa itu positive correlation? So the securities involved has a direct or positive relationship, and increased risk in one security tend to increase risk in another. Example, share A increase, B will increase. This one, husband and wife. So husband go cinema, wife also follow. So kalau dia ikut same direction, then kita say is positive correlation. Not only increase, kalau A menurun, B pun ikut menurun. This one kita pun panggil dia positive correlation. Same direction lah, both share. Dua securities. These two share is follow. Right? Both going up, both going down. Then we say positive. Negative relationship, the security involved has an inverse relationship. Right? And increased risk in one security tend to reduce risk in another. So example, share A increase, share B will decrease. This one bertentangan. A naik, B turun. A turun, B naik. Right, this one is negative relationship. Zero relationship, zero correlation, we call no relationship. The security involved have no relationship with one another. So means kalau A menaik, B not sure. Dia boleh naik, dia boleh turun, atau dia unchanged. So this one we call no relationship. Okay, no relationship. So we have 3 lah. All right. Okay, so we have done. Any question you want to ask? All right. So if we have done that, if you have no, then I think we'll stop here for today. So let's check for attendance for today's attendance. All right, so today full attendance. Thank you. Right, if you have no question, then thank you and bye bye. See you. Jumpa lagi kita. Bila? Okay, so.
Thank you, sir.
Right, thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir.